Chair Pfaff, you may begin.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I would like to call this meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Welcome to the October 10th, 2023 City of Burlingame Planning Commission meeting. All in attendance today, please note that this Planning Commission meeting is being held in person and using the Zoom webinar format. This meeting is also being streamed live on YouTube and will be uploaded to the city's website. Recently, several cities in the Bay Area have experienced Zoom bombing at city council and commission meetings. City clerks from around the Bay Area have reported meetings being disrupted during public comment by individuals espousing disturbing comments. Therefore, out of an abundance of caution, the city has also made the decision to no longer allow remote public comment during council and commission meetings. For the foreseeable future, we ask that the public either attend the meetings in person to comment or send an email to publiccomment@burlingame.org. Staff will be monitoring emails during the meeting, which will be read at the appropriate time. The length of the email comments should be commensurate with 3 minutes customarily allowed for verbal comments. Applicants and property owners of applications on the agenda will be allowed to speak on Zoom. If you are an applicant, I will ask you to raise your hand when the agenda item is up for discussion so that we may be prepared for you to speak at the appropriate time. We ask that you also turn on your video at that time. The record should note that all 7 members of this commission are present this evening. No, they're not.
One.
Oh, my goodness. Excuse me, Chris. I was wondering, it's a little short. Chris is missing. Commissioner Warren is not here, so 6 commissioners are present this evening. Agenda item number 3, request for AB 2249 remote participation. I don't think there are any commissioners participating remotely. Agenda item number 4, approval of the minutes. We have minutes to review and approve this evening from September 25th and 2023 regular planning commission meeting. Are there any comments, changes, discussions of those minutes? No? Okay, then may I have a motion by a commissioner and a second?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of September 25th.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Camerado, seconded by Commissioner Schmidt. Motion passes 6.
Oh, we'll take a vote first.
Sorry.
Commissioner Camerado.
Aye.
Commissioner Schmidt.
Aye.
Commissioner Shores.
Aye.
Commissioner Say.
Aye.
Vice Chair Lowenthal
Aye.
and Chair Pfaff.
Aye. Okay. Agenda item 5, approval of the agenda. Staff, are there any changes to our agenda?
There are no changes from staff.
And do we have any recusals? Any?
I am recusing from item 10A.
Okay. Commissioner Shores.
Commissioner Shores, if you could just for the reason for the recusal.
Oh, right, because my firm did a stork report on the building in that report.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Agenda item number 6, public comments, non-agenda. Members of the public may speak about any item not on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to suggest an item for future Planning Commission agenda may do so during the public comment period. The Ralph Brown Act, the state local agency open meeting law prohibits Planning Commission from acting on any matter that is not on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. As noted earlier, the city has made the decision to no longer allow remote public comment during Planning Commission meetings. Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on any item that is not on our agenda? Does not look that way.
There were also no emails submitted to
Okay.
public comment at burlingame.org.
Ask you next. Okay. Seeing none, we will move forward to the next item, agenda item 7, study items. The presentation 7A, presentation on safety element update, and I'm now going to turn it over to staff.
Yes, thank you. Let me just set up the presentation here. So thank you, Chair Pfaff. So the purpose of this presentation is to introduce Burlingame's update of the safety element. This will update our existing safety element, which is part of the 2019 general plan update. In the general plan, it's referred to as community safety. And this presentation is informational only, so you're not really expected to offer any feedback, but we certainly welcome any comments you may have at the end, and we'll just take note of those. So this evening, I'll just review the project. We'll go over the project schedule. I'll describe the community engagement that's going to be taking place, and we'll finish it off with next steps. So the staff that's working on the safety element update is myself and also Brittany Shao, assistant planner. The update is part of the multi-jurisdictional safety element collaborative project, which is a partnership with the County of San Mateo and several peninsula cities. This project is being led by Community Planning Collaborative, or CPC. CPC acts as the overall project manager, providing coordination and communication with participating agencies. A firm called PlaceWorks will lead the consultant team, and they will provide the technical assistance and subject matter expertise to the project, which includes community engagement. They're supported by 3 other firms, and that includes Climate Resilient Communities, Atlas Planning, and Nexus Planning and Research. So just to cover what is a safety element, the safety element is one of the mandatory elements of the general plan, and it focuses on natural and human-caused hazards and the risks they cause to the community. And generally, it's required to be updated once every year or along with the housing element. So this is the time to do it. The goal of the safety element is to protect the community, including residents, businesses, employees, infrastructure, and the environment from natural disasters and other hazards. So it's important to update the safety element. First, we need to update the existing background information with any new science that's available or mapping. We'll want to update the policies to address any new or ongoing hazards of concern in the community. Those are all constantly changing. We'll also want to improve and maintain consistency with other general plan elements and other agency plans. For example, the local hazard mitigation plan. So while the safety element is kind of more of a broad overview, a plan such as the local hazard mitigation plan is more specific, and it addresses short-term impacts. And we'll be kind of working with that plan and the safety element to integrate that into the safety. Grant funding is very important. So the update will improve our eligibility for grant funding to implement resiliency and hazard mitigation projects. And lastly, it's to comply with recent state regulations, which I'll cover on the next slide. So as you can see here, there are several state laws that passed, which require certain things to be done with the safety element. SB 1241 increases requirements in the flood and wildfire sections to identify responsible agencies and ensure that agencies are coordinating, as well as minimize the risk for new buildings and essential facilities. SB 379 focuses on climate change adaptation and resilience, requiring safety elements to prepare a vulnerability assessment that identifies risks to hazards and develops goals, policies, and implementation actions to build resilience in the community. And we'll review the vulnerability assessment in the next slide. SB 2140 allows for the incorporation of the local hazard mitigation plan, which I had just mentioned, which makes the city potentially eligible for increased disaster relief funds. And SB 99, which requires the identification of residential parcels with evacuation constraints. So an example might be narrow roads in our hillside areas. If you recall, a number of years ago, Paradise got hit with a devastating wildfire, and a lot of it was because folks couldn't get out safely and quickly. So let's talk a little bit about what a vulnerability assessment is. It is a key analysis component of the safety element update process. It evaluates how climate-related hazards may affect people and key community assets such as buildings and infrastructure within the city. It assesses the availability of existing policies, programs, and resources to help people prepare for, respond to, and recover from impacts. It provides a prioritized list of vulnerabilities to inform the resilience policies and implementation measures. And it also reviews expected local impacts of climate change. So each city is going to be different. For Burlingame, it'll evaluate impacts such as increases in intense rainfall and drought conditions, which we've experienced quite a bit of in the last couple of years, especially last winter with that intense rainfall at the end or beginning of the year. More frequent extreme heat events, more frequent and intense regional wildfires, and also sea level rise and shoreline flooding. Just to go over the project schedule, this project, updating the safety element, is expected to take approximately 2 years. There's a lot that's going to go into it. So the first step of the project includes compiling background information on hazards, including updating mapping, describing occurrences of past hazard events, and noting how hazards may change in the future. The next step would be to conduct the vulnerability assessment we just discussed. The third step includes drafting goals, policies, and programs. The fourth step would include taking that background information, the results of the vulnerability assessment, and drafts, goals, and policies, and combining all of that into a draft safety element, which would be ready for public review. The element will then go through environmental review and then go through local public review and approval hearings. The safety element is expected to wrap up in the middle of June, or in June of 2025. As you can see on your screen here, there is quite a bit of community engagement that's involved throughout this process. The goal is to inform the background information, vulnerability assessment, and goals, policies, implementation programs. We would note that the Safety Element Collaborative is taking an equity-focused approach to outreach to make sure that everyone in the community is heard and this information is provided to them. So community engagement would include community workshops to obtain information from residents, employees, and business owners. There will also be several what they're calling hard to reach community group meetings. So they'll be reaching out to community-based organizations, those perhaps that haven't been involved as much in previous years. There will be a number of stakeholder meetings. They're also going to provide a survey to reach those that aren't able to come to workshops or meetings. Several study sessions will be held with the Planning Commission and City Council, and then public hearings to adopt the safety element. And just to wrap it up, what are our next steps? So right now we're just starting to compile data on hazards, populations, and community assets, creating a GIS database that will help with this project, and also begin a preparation of the climate vulnerability assessment. Those are the things that are upcoming for staff and for the group. So again, this was informational only, not expecting you to provide any feedback. There will be other study sessions in the future, but you can certainly take any of your thoughts or comments on this. We can also open it up to the public that's here if they have any comments on that.
Yes.
I just have a quick question. So what about properties that are within the county, like the unincorporated part of the city? Does this also cover those properties in the city of Burlingame that fall under the county?
So the safety element would only look at within the city limits. The county would be taking care of those properties that are unincorporated Burlingame Hills. And they are updating this as one of the agencies that are in this group.
Is there any interfacing between the county and the city since our land crosses over? I mean, also Hillsborough too.
Yeah, I mean, the local hazard mitigation plan, what I mentioned, that is a plan that a number of cities joined that the county led. So there's definitely interface there. And then the county through this process is also updating their safety element.
Thank you.
I'll just jump in. I just have a question. What was the former name of this?
Oh, so in the general plan, it's listed under a chapter called community safety, but it's essentially the safety element. It just was given a different name.
So that was a sort of a space holder, and this is it. This is the thing, or it's,
This is an update to that chapter, and this is going to have a lot more detailed information.
I understand.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
We probably do want to open it up to the public. Not sure if we'll have anyone.
Yes. Do we have any members of the public who would like to speak, ask anything? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much. Right. So moving along to the consent calendar, agenda item 8, there are no consent calendar items for review. That brings us to agenda item 9, regular action item, 1312 Mills Avenue, 9A. As noted earlier, the city has made a decision to no longer allow remote public comment during the planning commission meetings. If you are a member of the public and would like to comment on this project, please send an email to publiccomment@burlingame.org. Your comment will be read aloud if it is received in time. If you are the applicant and are attending via Zoom, please raise your hand so that we may be prepared for you to speak. Well, I can see you right here at the appropriate time. So actually, no, I can't see you. It's the other project. Actually, then we're going to have them on Zoom, I guess. If possible, we ask for you to turn on your video at that time. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications? And we don't, yes? Yeah, okay. And we don't have any recusals either. So let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Yes, this is an application for a design review and special permits for a second-story balcony and attached garage for a new two-story single-family dwelling and attached garage at 1312 Mills Avenue, zoned R1. The subject property is an interior lot that contains an existing one-story single-unit dwelling, detached garage. The applicant is proposing to demolish all structures on the site and build a new two-story single-unit dwelling and new attached one garage. The proposed floor area is 3,019 square feet, where 3,020 square feet is the maximum allowed. The applicant is requesting a special permit for an attached garage. A special permit is also being requested for a 75 square foot second-story balcony at the rear of the house. There would be a total of 4 bedrooms in the proposed dwelling. 2 parking spaces, one of which must be covered, are required for a 4-bedroom house. The new attached one-car garage provides the required covered parking, and 1 uncovered space is provided in the driveway. All other zoning code requirements have been met. At the Planning Commission Design Review Study meeting on August 28th, Commission had several comments and suggestions regarding this project. The applicant submitted a response letter, date stamped September 18th, and revised plans, date stamped September 22nd, to address your comments and suggestions. Required findings for design review and special permit. Suggested findings for design review and special permit are found on pages 3 and 4 of the staff report. And that concludes my summary of the staff report. I'd be happy to take questions of staff if you have any now, or else the applicant is here.
And so do we have any? Corey? No? Nothing. All right, thank you very much. So I'm going to open the public hearing. So the applicant, I need to tune in and come forth, state name, and anything else you would like us to know about your project.
Good evening, commissioners. Jesse Gersa from Gersa Conceptual Designs Incorporated. I'd like to thank you for your comments and our resubmittal on the project. I know you guys had some comments previously that hopefully we addressed. If I could just kind of go through the ones that you had mentioned. One was in regards to the redwood tree in the rear of the property. I had spoken to my clients in regards to that, and they were fine with leaving the redwood tree in the rear of the property. So on the plans on sheet L1, we've indicated that the existing tree was to remain the redwood tree, but I do have an error that the keynote indicates keynote number 3, whereas it really should be keynote number 7, that the existing redwood tree is to remain. I think that would take care of what the comment was about removal of the redwood tree. The other was just in regards to more vegetation in the rear for screening from the balcony. So we had introduced some additional red maples in the rear to provide a little bit more screening for the rear neighbors. We had also added about 2 more cypress trees to the left neighbors, so that the balcony would have or the trees would screen from that balcony on the upper level. Also, the question was just about maybe enclosing the balcony. What we've done is we've made the left side of that balcony a solid wall and just left the front part as an open space, at least for the visual for the client's rear yard. I think another question too was just in regards to the depth of the porch, and in our review of that, we only had 1 square foot to spare for adding on to the residence. And the only way I would be able to make that deeper was to stretch the house back. And by doing that would end up stretching the upper level bedroom and creating additional square footage that we didn't have to spare. And I think that was about it. Hopefully everything is to your approval, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, just real quick, Jesse, why couldn't you just push back the living room and the foyer? Why does the whole house have to stretch back in order to get a larger porch?
Well, I didn't want to make that any smaller than it was. I mean, currently that porch is about 5 feet in width, and I just didn't want to just stretch that back and make those rooms smaller for the porch.
Okay, thanks.
I was going to ask the same thing. I'm just not as. So, all right. Do you have any questions? Okay, great. All right. So then, do we have any members of the public attending in person who would wish to speak on this item, or do we receive any public comment?
We have received no emails to publiccomment@burlingame.org.
Then I am going to close the public hearing. So, commissioners, comments? Well, I'll just go. I have to go. Thank you. With regard to that tree, I think you have brought the whole house up a notch by keeping it, my personal opinion. I think it's a big house. It's very nicely, beautifully designed. I think one of your best, Jesse, and I just think it helps that the tree, the stature, also the other landscaping really helps with the privacy, helps set it in, makes it look have more of a sense of place. And I personally very much appreciate that. I think you've done wish the porch could be a little deeper, but anyway, besides that, it's pretty, in my mind, pretty darn good project. So those are my comments. Any other comments?
I was fine with it before, I'm fine with it now. So Unless anybody else has an objection, I'll make a motion that we approve this project with the added request permit for the attached garage, special permit for the second floor balcony. Any others?
I would like to second that then. So can I have a roll call?
Yes, so Commissioner Camerado, Commissioner Schmid,
Aye.
Commissioner Shores,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
I,
Vice Chair Lowenthal,
Aye.
and Chair Pfaff.
Aye. All right, so now we're going to move along to,
We do need to read the appeal language for that.
oh,
It is appealable.
sorry about that. Any action by the planning commission is appealable to city council within 10 days of the planning commission's action. Planning commission's action has not been appealed or called up for review by the city council by 5 p.m. on the 10th day, the action becomes final. In order to be effective, appeals must be in writing and must be accompanied by an appeal fee of $784, which includes noticing costs. Congratulations and thank you very much. Moving along to agenda item 10, design review items. This is for 7740 Fairfield Road. As noted earlier, the city has made a decision to no longer allow remote public comment during planning commission meetings. If you are a member of the public and would like to comment on this project, please send an email to publiccomment@burlingame.org. And by the way, public comment has 2 C's. Your comment will be read aloud if it is received in time. If you are the applicant and are attending the meeting via Zoom, please raise your hand, and our applicant is right here, so I'm not going to bother with that. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communication regarding this project? Nope. Okay.
And just
And-
the note,
Yes,
Commissioner Shores has.
Commissioner Shores, I was just going to say.
I am sorry, you're on top of it.
Yes, thank you very much. Commissioner Shores is recusing for this item. Let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Sure. This is an application for design review, parking variance for first and second story addition to an existing single unit dwelling at 740 Fairfield Road, zoned R1. Just to give you a little background, based on information submitted to the planning division by the previous property owner during the sale of the property earlier this year, it was indicated that the property or structures may have historical characteristics. A historical evaluation was prepared by this property by Page and Turnbull, dated June 1st. And it concluded that the property does not appear to be individually eligible for listing in the national or California registers under any criteria. The subject property is an interior lot and contains an existing 2-story single unit dwelling. The applicant is proposing first and second story additions and a remodel, and also a new single car detached garage. The project would have a total floor area of 3,313 square feet, where 4,366 square feet is the maximum allowed. The existing site is non-conforming in parking since there is no covered parking provided. However, with this application, there will be 1 covered parking space provided. The number of bedrooms is being increased to 5. The office on the first floor qualifies as a bedroom. So for a 5-bedroom house, 3 parking spaces are required, 2 of which must be covered. The proposed detached garage provides 1 covered space and 1 uncovered space is provided in the driveway. Therefore, the applicant is also requesting a parking variance for the lack of 1 covered parking space. All other zoning requirements have been met. So the only requirement here, the only applications are design review and parking variance for the 1 covered space. That concludes my staff report. If you have any questions for staff, we can take those. If not, the applicant is here.
Are there any questions for staff? Okay, I don't either. So that I'm going to open the public hearing. Hi, Tim. Like you to come forward and state your name. Anything else you'd like us to know about your project?
Good evening, Commission. Tim Rudines, project designer, Form 1 Design. In working out the 3 kind of design points of this project with the owners, Number one was the large tree on the far right corner of the property. We wanted to play off of that. Playing off of that means keeping the old cool house, even though it's not historic. I think it's historic because it's actually really cool. Many of those details on that house will never get reproduced. So we are keeping the coolness of that house. We are putting the massing of this house towards the back. You won't see most of the addition. I think it has great curb appeal. It has a ton of deferred maintenance, but we think it's a very smart preservation. It's probably going to save them a little bit, and it's just going to look cool. That was our three design points. It was the tree, the coolness of the architecture that's already there, and the massing. Massing is going to be on the back side where you won't see much of it. Design items I want to talk about. The variance. We are hoping not to do the variance. I've been talking with Amelia. She has been agreeable that if we open up that downstairs library den bedroom, that we could possibly not do the variance. We can talk about that at our next meeting. Hope we'll have comments from you and I'll make some updates, but we don't want to do a variance. I did the variance form just to make it on the planning commission meeting, and then we can discuss. The other design item, the addition, it's a little bit hard to understand on the 3D, but on the 2D is the addition on the back will have larger format siding so that it will actually let the existing house stand proud of the addition. So it'll kind of stand on its own. I think that's a cool look. We don't want to redo everything. We want to pay homage to the existing house. And then, as you can see there, it's on the proposed left elevation, the addition has larger format. So it'll be a slightly more modern take. And you'll understand that the existing house is in the front, the addition and a little bit more of a modern style home is in the back. We will probably not keep the yellow. We'll probably change the paint style. I'll probably have an updated mood board on our next meeting and hopefully get approval. I'm open to suggestions and comments. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Don't move. Do we have any questions of Tim? No?
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner Schmidt?
Not seeing a landscape plan per se, wondering, and I know it's a remodel, but I'm wondering, what are we doing on that side lot that says existing lawn, but actually is just a bunch of
Rubbish.
weeds?
Yes. We have Agnes thing on it. I've worked with her before. We will have we'll actually have a landscape plan, kind of saying what we're going to do to update kind of the not well taken care of property.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Say.
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify, Tim, were you saying that you're trying to avoid the parking variance?
Correct.
By opening up is that the rear by the family room?
No, it's the front
Oh,
bedroom,
that library.
library den with the bathroom.
Okay, well, right now, isn't it already open?
It is open. I think Amelia just wanted it more clarified. We didn't put a note saying it needs over 50%. So
Mm.
we're going to make it about 7 feet wide. And we'll put the notes saying that the actual opening needs to be over 50% of that wall.
Okay, what about the office at the back of the house? Doesn't that also qualify as a bedroom?
It doesn't have a closet and it's smaller. It's only like 7 feet. Bedrooms will be over 7 feet.
Yeah, that as proposed, that office does qualify as a bedroom, so we don't look at whether it's a closet or not. If it has a minimum dimension of at least 7 feet. So one way to open up that room would be to open it up by 50%, like on either side of the fireplace, I think, if you can get enough opening there. Or you'd have to reduce the width of that room to 6 foot, 11.5 inches. Otherwise,
We're at four, that would be at 4 bedrooms though. We're at 5, including that front bedroom.
Upstairs, there's 3.
There's 3 and then 1 in the back. I mean, even though it's not going to be used as a bedroom.
But it can technically, because
Yeah.
it's pretty closed off, and I can see certainly that being used as a bedroom, and it's 9 feet wide, so it's definitely greater than that 7 foot dimension, or 7.5 feet, I forgot which one it is. And then did you, I appreciate what you described about the 1-story addition at the rear. Did you explore putting a roof on it other than a flat roof?
We did. And we're trying to just keep the massing down a little bit and to also just give the 2nd story a better view to the backyard.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Tim? Commissioner Camerado, you have a look like. Okay, not yet. All right, so great. I don't have any questions. So then, let's see. Do we have any, oh no, wait. Yeah, pardon? Public comment. Yeah, do we have any? Have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item, or did we receive any public comment email?
we did not receive any public comment emails.
Then I am going to close the public hearing. So now we're moving to our comments. Yes, I want to go.
You can.
Sure. Oh, I was just, I'm a little bit concerned about that. What I appreciate trying to get rid of the parking variance, because I feel like the house is huge. The property is large. There are no spatial limitations to not be able to build a 2-car garage. You know, these 2 rooms downstairs, I mean, downstairs effectively looks like 3 bedrooms already. And so I appreciate the efforts, I guess, the next go around of opening up the office and the library. So those are not acting as bedrooms as they currently are. I'm also where I was kind of looking at the floor plan, and I don't see a lot of closets or storage space. And I'm thinking for a house of this size and a property of this size, only a 1-car garage, that, you know, a lot of people don't even park in garages and use it for storage. So I'm just a little bit concerned about whether there's enough storage space for this size home. But the design is nice. I really appreciate the sticking with the existing home and adding to it. Definitely respect that. And I do agree that the curb appeal is very nice. And I'm also a bit concerned about that flat roof at the back. It actually in elevation, it looks like that's the garage. I mean, if you were to guess, didn't know any better, you think that's the garage, and then maybe the detached garage at the back of the property, storage shed or something like that. But it doesn't, I think all these other elevations tie in so nicely. There's a lot of details and attention to the design of the home and the craftsman style. But I feel like this deliberate move to kind of a more modern addition at the back with a flat roof doesn't tie it all together for me.
I'm going to say, no, you go. You can go. Then, you know.
I appreciate the adaptive reuse of the house. I like the curb appeal of it as well. The siding size, when I looked at the elevations, the line work in 2D, it kind of like threw me. It's like, I don't really care that it's a different size. I would put the same size.
Well-
If you were going to say go shingle on, if you were gonna say, oh, I'm gonna do the second story and shingle in the bottom and the siding, okay, then you've made a statement there, but I think that the two different sizes of siding is not doing anything particular to me. So I wouldn't be afraid to use the same siding.
Okay.
I struggle with, I struggled when I looked at this with the variance for the parking, because it seems like we're shoving the existing driveway on the narrow side and then not doing a 2-car garage because we've done that. And I appreciate that it's staying on the same side. I also appreciate that the big oak tree is in the middle on the other side, but because this house is so lopsided on the site to one side, it seems a shame that the fat side isn't getting used. So there's a few things I think you have an opportunity to maybe when you come back to improve, work on your narrative for that and work with your client on, trying to make the best choices there. I don't disagree with Commissioner Say that storage can be a premium
Yep.
when you have a single car. It's challenging. So the landscape plan, because it is so beat up down there, I'd hate
It
to
is.
say, ooh, we fixed the house, but we didn't do anything else. And this is our last chance to make that statement. So, or well, I guess the next meeting is, but
It's in progress.
that's what we'd like to see. Thank you.
So, agree with totally with the landscape comment. I have to say, first of all, very much appreciate, I love this house, always loved it. It's very special, has a lot of neat detail on it. The windows and everything being still intact, rare these days, I would say. I looked at the back a little differently. If the unit of siding were the same, rather than trying to, I understand what you're doing, but maybe rather than trying to be on purpose very different. I almost, when I first looked at this, I thought, oh, it's sort of like a solarium. The windows aren't very much solarium-like, but that's a family room, right? So I was thinking, I don't build, so I didn't have a problem with the flat roof, except maybe it's gonna, but I could see doing something very beautiful and more tying in actually to the original house, which would be flat roof and sort of like, we have a solarium, so I'm used to solarium, maybe not a completely flat roof, but a, slight angle and very low pitch and a lot of glass and small unit glass, small panes. That I could see, to me, I could see that sort of pulling everything together, but just me, it's my opinion. I think you did a really nice job on this and very much appreciate reuse of this beautiful structure. And so that's all I currently have to say.
Yeah, I concur with my fellow commissioners. From 30,000 feet up, it's a good project. I'm fully on board with it. Get a little bit closer in detail, and I agree with my other commissioners' comments. Commissioner Say hit the nail on the head as far as why with the flat roof. As a contractor, I end up going into some of these houses, and this is supposed to be an inspiring design, and sometimes you see these afterthoughts of additions, and unfortunately that's what this reminds me of, is the rear box with a flat roof just looks like an afterthought, and I regret that, because everything else about the house I really like. So I think just a little bit of work on there, I think it will come together. So maybe it's the siding that's bothering me. The flat roof, I'm never a fan of as a builder. So I would always recommend people going away from flat roofs if they can. But otherwise, like I said, it's a positive project.
So I agree with the fellow commissioners. I think that flat roof, that flat back piece is kind of bothersome to me. But other than that, everything else is in great shape.
Can I just have 1 second to respond?
We would have to reopen the public hearing.
I don't think there'll be a lot of competitions. I will
I'll keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
I will work on the flat roof. We're already doing the landscape plan. It will be on the next revision. The the reason we are not using the right side of the lot, there's two reasons. The oak tree and the owners want to keep their hand open to possibly lot split. That lot can be split. So that is why we're doing it. It wasn't because I wasn't thinking correctly. It's because we are keeping our option open. It's in a kind of transitional area. It's right next to the school. It's right next to El Camino. They're trying to maximize the future on that property. And that is the reason we're doing it. So I want you to understand what our thought process is, because there's so many moving parts with the state, with local, everything. I'm thinking of it all. That is the reason. So,
Thank you very much.
and we will still landscape it very well if it doesn't happen in the future. The people that buy this will, or if the owners move in, they'll enjoy that side property. So that's the reasoning.
I would encourage the not lot split
I
solution.
and
I think that having a good sized lot is a treasure.
it is.
And I think that having a half a lot will not be a treasure.
Correct. I understand.
And I don't know that it would truly fit in the neighborhood. It would just fit.
It would fit. Yes,
And that's about it. So
but I'm just being
Nope.
transparent so
I
that,
appreciate that.
Do you-
That's actually what it looked like.
well, I'm gonna tell you, that's exactly what's possibly
wanna say
going to
something?
happen. Thank you.
Oh, do we have anything else?
We do have to see if there's any other members. of the
Oh,
public.
yes.
I'm guessing not, but
Are there any members of the public who have written in or, okay,
No public comment even.
all right, thank you for checking. Are we done with this then? All right,
Thank you.
thank you very much. So close that. So then, those were actually our comments, right? So I guess are we doing a motion then? Do a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to bring this back on regular action.
I'll second that.
We have roll call?
Okay. Apparently we have lost our feed, so I don't have my other screen. I will go by Commissioner Camerado,
Hmm.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
I,
Vice Chair Lowenthal,
Aye.
and Chair Fuff.
Aye. Thank you very much. And then this action is not appealable. So moving along to commissioners' reports, item 11.
If we can just hold until Commissioner Shores
Oh, sorry.
back in. just-
Very good. Welcome back. So agenda item 11, commissioners' reports. Are there any commissioners' reports? No. Okay. I do want to say something. I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but the Historical Society is having a talk a week from Thursday about the architect who designed this building, William Whiffler. And our city hall and it has a couple other very beautiful homes in the area, just in case anyone's interested. It's Lane Room, 6:30 on the 19th, Thursday, 19th. Otherwise, sorry, I had to just say it because it's relevant to architecture.
I'm sorry, can you repeat what is the meeting about again?
It's about, it's given by his son, Graham Whiffler, who's a director, music video director and horror films. And he's very interesting. And his father was William Whiffler, who founded the Department of Architecture at CSM and did this building and some other buildings in town and some beautiful, very modern structures in Hillsborough and in Burlingame. One of which is in the National Register of Historic Places on Drake, the end of Drake. So very cool thing with this kind of stuff going on in wood. So just want to mention it.
And what's the subject matter? Is to talk about his work?
Yes, he'll talk about his work. I'm thinking that's it. Yes,
Yeah.
it's what the topic's supposed to be, so. But I said he can talk about rock videos if he wants to, if we have time. So anyway, all right, that was it for me. And then agenda item number 12, director's reports.
Sure. There were no planning related items to report from the October 2nd city council meeting. And just for the public, I did want to let them know that the draft EIR for the life science project out at 1200 to 1340 Bayshore Highway is out for the 45-day public review period. And at your next planning commission meeting on October 23rd, you will be holding a session to take in comment during that 45-day review period. So just for the public who's listening in, that's coming up next at the next meeting.
If we have comment, questions about certain things in that report for staff, can we just go on our own, like?
We can certainly talk to you about that.
Yeah.
After the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
And more information, or if you would like to review that draft EIR, it's found on our webpage, Planning Division under Major Projects.
Okay, great. Thank you. And moving on to agenda item 13, future agenda items. Are there any future agenda items? All right, and thank you very much. And the meeting is adjourned at 7:50. Wow. Thank you, everybody.